Living abroad can be one of the most rewarding choices you ever make, but it's not without its risk. While cultural missteps and bureaucratic hurdles are well documented, what many don't prepare for is the social minefield of dealing with other expats. There's no official guidebook for how to navigate these waters, but understanding the do's and don'ts and recognizing that your greatest threat may wear the same passport as you is the kind of wisdom that keeps you out of trouble and in control. So let's take a look at some of the do's to get this right. Do approach with curiosity and not assumption. Just because someone's another expat, it doesn't mean to say that they share the same values and goals or ethics as you. Your fellow expats could be trust fund kids on a bender, war veterans seeking peace, or fugitives looking for a reset. Your new buddy might be in the country for reasons that make your skin crawl if you were to dig a little deeper. An example, a Canadian in Thailand met a fellow expat who seemed helpful and generous. Within weeks, he learned that the man was involved in online scams and was using their shared address for sketchy deliveries. The friendship nearly got him raided, so always engage people with curiosity. Ask what brought them here. How long have they been around and what do they really do? Their answers often reveal to you what you're really dealing with. Do share knowledge generously, but selectively. The expat learning curve is a steep one. If you've figured out how to get a visa extension, the best phone plan, or the name of a fair landlord, share it. But do it carefully because not everyone has the right intentions, and some people will misuse the help that you give them. An example, a long-timer in Vietnam shared his fixer's info for visa renewals for a few newcomers. Within months, the fixer's operation was overloaded, corner cutting, and eventually shut down, leaving everyone who relied on it in the lurch. Help others, yes, but gatekeep a little. Protect good resources from being drained or exploited. Do practice neutrality in expat drama. Expat circles can be high school with money. One bad breakup or bar fight can polarize an entire town. People take sides, rumors fly, and you, fresh off the plane, get sucked into someone else's beef without even knowing it. Example, in a small beach town in Mexico, two expat bar owners got into a feud over staffing. Newcomers who picked one over the other found themselves denied service or worse, dragged into local gossip and accusations. So stay out of it. Keep your opinions to yourself. Listen more than you talk. And if someone's trying too hard to tell you their side of the story, it could be a red flag. Do protect your reputation. Abroad, your name becomes your brand. Locals and expats talk. Word spreads fast. A bad review from a landlord, a fallout with a friend, or even a one night of bad behavior can become folklore. An example of a teacher in the Philippines once got drunk at a beach resort and berated staff over a towel. Someone filmed it, the video circulated amongst expat Facebook groups. Within a month, no school would touch his CV. Be consistent, be respectful, and don't underestimate how small these communities can be. Do support local integration. Having an expat bubble is okay, but you're in the country to experience something a little different, so lean into that. Learn the language, understand cultural norms, and make local friends. Expats who only hang around with other expats often become bitter, cynical, and disconnected. An example, in Colombia, two American friends arrived at the same time. One took Spanish lessons, made local friends, and learned to salsa. The other stuck with the English-speaking crowd, and after a year, the first guy had built a real life. The second was ready to leave, burned out, and frustrated. Integration gives depth to your experience and protects you when expat resources fail or things go sideways, as they often will. Now let's move on to some of the don'ts. Don't ever assume that other expats are allies. This is the golden rule. Many expats are amazing people, but some are opportunists, scammers, or just plain toxic. That friendly guy who invites you for beers might also be the one skimming your wallet, using your name to get out of trouble, or dragging you into situations you didn't sign up for. An example of a newcomer in Cambodia was invited to join a real estate group by a long timer. Turns out it was a front for pushing overpriced properties to naive investors. Now, when the scheme fell apart, the new guy had to deal with the legal blowback. Even though he was just trying to make friends, vet people, watch how they treat locals, pay attention to what they don't say, and never assume shared nationality equals shared values. Don't tell dirty laundry or brag about money. Oversharing about your life back home, your financials, or your complaints about the country will backfire. It makes you look arrogant, reckless, or even out of touch. Worse, it attracts people looking to take advantage of you or report you. Just don't borrow or lend money to or from other expats. It usually ends in trouble. Example, a guy from the UK in Bali bragged about a party and how easy it was to dodge taxes and fly under the radar with cash. Someone overheard and later reported him anonymously. He got deported 6 weeks later. Stay humble. Stay quiet about money. You never know who's listening or what their angle is. Don't get sucked into the savior complex crowd. You will meet expats who think that they're here to improve the locals, teach them how to do things properly, criticize their systems, or act like colonial governors. Avoid these people like the plague. An example of an American in the Philippines wrote condescending Facebook posts about how broken the culture was. Locals called word, his business was boycotted, and eventually he left under social pressure. You're not here to change the country. You're here as a guest to adapt. And the people who forget that often get slapped by reality. Don't rely solely on expat advice. Expat forums are full of armchair experts. Some mean well, however, others just like to hear themselves talk. They'll offer legal advice with no credentials, medical tips with no training, or business ideas based on zero success. The example of a woman in Vietnam followed a visa hack from a forum that involved using a travel agency for fake hotel bookings. She got flagged by immigration and spent a night in holding before being fined and released. So take advice, but verify it. Double check everything. If it sounds too easy, it probably is illegal or outdated. Don't ignore red flags in character. If someone seems off, they probably are. Expats with shady vibes usually give themselves away. Fast talkers, big promises, vague details about their past, always broke or borrowing. You're under no obligation to rescue them or be polite. The example of a teacher in Thailand let another expat crash on his couch just for a few days. 2 months later, the guy was still there drinking, mooching around, and eventually stole his laptop. Now, this isn't home. You don't owe anyone anything beyond the basics of decency and civility. Your peace and safety come first. Now, why other expats can be your biggest threat? The real danger isn't always the culture shock or visa rules. It's in the expats who've gone off the rails and are now looking for others to bring down with them. These are usually people who were a problem child in their own country and have brought their ways over here. They can drag you into legal or financial trouble, bad advice, shady partnerships, or even just being in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong person can wreck your expat journey. An example of a guy in Central America started hanging with a crew doing weekend cash gigs. It turns out that it was unlicensed work. Immigration called them and everyone involved got fined and blacklisted from re-entry. They can ruin your reputation. One argument in public, one misunderstood comment, or even association with someone controversial can tank your social standing in places where everybody knows everyone. The example of a woman in Chiang Mai made friends with a guy involved in a public scandal. Just being seen with him lost her a job offer and cost her half her friend group. They can be predators. Financial, emotional, sexual, predatory behavior is sadly common in some expat circles, especially where there's a power imbalance of some kind. The example of a young woman in the Dominican Republic got close to an older expat who promised to show her the ropes. Turns out he had a pattern of dating newcomers, isolating them, and then manipulating them. They can attract unwanted attention. Hanging with the loud, drunk, or politically vocal expats is a fast track to being profiled by immigration or even police, even if you're squeaky clean. The example of a peaceful retiree in Ecuador was detained after his friend made a public anti-government rant online. Guilt by association is real. So the final thoughts on this: being an expat isn't just about where you live. It's about how you live and who you choose to live it with. Your fellow foreigners can be your greatest allies or your biggest liabilities. So build smart, vet thoroughly, stay neutral, be generous, but never naive. This life can be beautiful, enlightening, liberating, and rich with opportunity. But just remember, the danger isn't always the cultural divide. Sometimes it's sitting right next to you, speaking the same language, holding the same passport, and sipping the same beer, and hiding a very different agenda.